In today's video, we're going to be having a look at how to add some smart functionality to my Postbox in order to get it into Home Assistant. Check it out. What's going on, guys? I hope you're all doing well. I've recently been through a series of mishaps with my parcels, whether deliveries have been missed, parcels have been left out in the rain, or maybe the parcels have been intercepted by the fluffy beast. A big thank you to Brizebox for hooking me up with their large galvanized steel postbox. This thing is an absolute unit, and with the help of this postbox, I now no longer miss any post, and the post also doesn't really get eaten anymore. If you haven't seen or heard of Brizebox, they're a UK manufacturer that specialise in creating postbox solutions that have a specialised patented security mechanism that helps keep the contents inside of it secure. Brizebox did send over the postbox that we're going to be having a look at in today's video, but the video isn't sponsored and you don't necessarily have to use one of these postboxes in order to follow along with the video. You can pretty much use whatever postbox you already have. If you are interested in picking one of these postboxes up for yourself, I'll leave a link to them in the description below. They do come in a range of different colours and sizes, and what is cool about them is that really nice security mechanism, so once something gets placed in the drawer, you can't take it back out. And in my case, I've had mine fitted flush with my fence, so the only way you can actually get parcels out is to go around the back and unlock the door. So parcels are now securely stored and we no longer miss deliveries and the parcels no longer get eaten. But what actually does happen now is the parcels actually sometimes get forgotten about, so they'll get put in the box and we'll just sometimes forget to check, just because we're busy with our day to day. So occasionally parcels can sit in that box for a couple of days and just go unnoticed. And if you didn't guess already, this is where the smarts come in. If you think about today's video as kind of like the version 1 for the smart postbox, well, technically it's version 2 because I did already try this before, but we'll come back to that in just a second. So with this version 1, I'm going to try and improve it over time and just add new features and functionality to it, based on just new ideas that I have, new bits of tech, and also suggestions from you guys. So if you do have any suggestions, then do let me know in the comments below. And coming back to what I said a second ago, technically this is my version 2 of the smart postbox because I have already tried this out, and when I tried this out previously I was making use of some Z-Wave products, and for me I thought Z-Wave was going to be the way to go. It's got good range and it's got low power, so using low power there's going to be less having to change batteries and just fiddle about with all your devices. But Z-Wave just didn't do what I wanted it to do, and whether that's because it's in a big steel box or just the products that I've been using just weren't up to what I wanted them to do. And I'm not saying that Z-Wave's bad or that there's anything wrong with using Z-Wave, but just in my use case here, Z-Wave just didn't cut it for me. I had an AOTech range extender outside, and right next to that is pretty much where the postbox is, and my devices just had problems with either communicating, they were either too slow or just didn't update well enough. And again, this could just be down to the devices that I was using, and I don't really have that many Z-Wave devices to test it out, so I just swapped back to using Zigbee. I did think I was going to have to use an outdoor Zigbee router in order to boost the signal for the devices outside, but just putting them outside and testing them out, I found that they're more than fast enough and they work exactly as you'd expect, even being outside, and they also work exactly as expected, even being inside of that postbox. Just because this works for my setup, it doesn't mean it's going to work exactly for your setup. Your postbox might be way further away from your house, or maybe some of the materials might block signals, or maybe some of the devices are a little bit different and they've got different connectivity ranges. So just double check all of your devices and check your signal and connectivity, just all of those kinds of things that you'd normally do before you just commit to buying lots of devices or making big modifications. For my postbox sensors, I'm making use of some of Third Reality's Zigbee contact sensors. And I know what you're probably thinking, why are you using those big chunky ones when you could be making use of something like smaller Akara ones or some other kind of brand that is much smaller? Well, the reason for this, the reason that I'm going for those big boys, is just because they've got those bigger batteries. These things make use of AAA batteries and you can get 2 of them in there. So you're going to get a big battery inside of these things, so they're going to last for a long time. But also being big, they're actually easy to get in and change. So with my particular postbox, if I made use of some small ones, it's going to be really fiddly with some of the angles that I've got them on. So these big blocky, bulky things are actually really nice and convenient for my particular design setup. Not only this, with my outside testing, I found that there is really good range on these third reality contact sensors, and they also pair and work really well with Zigbee to MQTT. The only kind of issue that I've really had with these sensors is that on initial setup, the battery doesn't seem to report correctly, and I don't know if this is going to correct itself or not, but originally they were reporting at over 200%, and it has evened off a little bit, but I'm not sure if I fully trust this yet. To keep things simple, I've gone with 3 different contact sensors. So I've got one on the letterbox section, one on the drawer section, and then one on the back door. Using this setup, I'm able to detect if a letter's been put into the box or if the drawer's actually been opened. And when either of those two things happens, an input boolean gets turned on, and the only way that this gets turned off is by the back door opening. And if you're opening up the back door of the postbox, then more than likely you're going to be emptying the contents of it. So with this case, I turn the input boolean off. So if the input boolean's on, it means there's post in the box, and if it's off, it means the postbox is empty. To take this all a step further, I also include a couple of notifications when post gets entered. So when that input boolean gets turned on, I trigger a notification that plays some text to speech in the kitchen if there's somebody in the kitchen, and this just tells them that there's post in the postbox.
Congratulations, you have mail.
I also send out notifications to my phone and to my wife's phone, just saying the time that post got delivered, just as a little heads up that there's post. To help combat the whole issue of post just sitting in the box all night, at 8 PM if Home Assistant can detect that there's somebody in the front room, it will play a text-to-speech notification telling whoever it is in the room that there's still post waiting in the post box, and this will just kind of give them a little friendly nudge and get them to go outside and actually bring the post in. Another nice notification that I have is if I'm in my office, rather than getting a notification on my phone, I've got my little metric time that sits right in front of me, and I'll get a little notification on that telling me that there's post outside. And as an extra thing, just to also help with avoiding the post sitting in the box all day, on my wall panel I've got a little post icon, and that icon will actually light up, and it will also conveniently tell you the time that post went into the box. And if there's no post in the box, then this icon isn't turned on. And again, that's just a very nice visual representation which should hopefully help avoid missing the post. You'll find the code that I've used for my postbox automations in the description below, but I will be coming back to this in more of a deeper dive in a future video. And there we go guys, that's been a quick look at the first version of my smart postbox. As I said before, if you've got any ideas or suggestions for things that you'd want to see added to a postbox, then do let me know in the comments below. If you've enjoyed the video, then don't forget to drop me a like, and if you're not already, hit that subscribe button and ding dong the notification bell. You'll then be alerted to any future video that I do. As always, a massive thank you to these awesome dudes. These awesome dudes are my Patreons. If you're interested in helping support my channel, which in turn allows me to create content like this, then you'll find a link to my Patreon in the description below. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.